Nobody saw this quarterback battle turning into one of the NFL's juiciest storylines of 2025. The Cleveland Browns, a franchise haunted by decades of quarterback drama, suddenly find themselves at the center of a storm, and at the heart of it all, a rookie with a famous last name and a veteran with 5 words that shook the locker room. The name is Shedeur Sanders, son of the legendary Deion coach Prime Sanders, a player who has carried hype, pressure, and expectation since high school. And now, in Cleveland, he's not just stepping onto the NFL stage. He's being thrust into one of the toughest jobs in football, leading the Browns. And here's where it gets wild. Because just when the city began buzzing with hope, just when the fans were daring to believe, Baker Mayfield dropped a message that changed everything. 5 words. That's it. 5 words that didn't just trend on social media. They carved fault lines through Cleveland's fan base, set sports talk shows on fire, and made Shedeur's journey even more complicated. The question is no longer if Shedeur Sanders can succeed. The question is whether he can survive the storm swirling around him before he's even played a regular season snap. To understand why this story has the NFL world buzzing, you have to start with Cleveland's long, painful history. The Browns have been cursed at quarterback for decades. From Johnny Manziel to Deshaun Watson, from stopgap veterans to promising rookies who fizzled out, this team has cycled through names faster than fans could buy jerseys. Each year began with hope, and each year ended in heartbreak. Enter Shedeur Sanders. When the Browns took him, some analysts said it was a reach. Others called it a desperation swing. But for Cleveland fans who have lived through mediocrity, the name Sanders meant something different. Belief. This was the son of primetime, a player who had not only handled pressure under the brightest college football spotlight, but thrived in it. At Colorado, with millions watching, Shedeur didn't just play quarterback. He embodied swagger, grit, and a will to prove doubters wrong. From the moment he arrived in Cleveland, the atmosphere shifted. Training camp crowds swelled. Every throw, every scramble, every practice rep was filmed, tweeted, dissected. His mechanics smooth, his poise unshakable. Reporters described him as a rookie who doesn't act like one. Teammates whispered about how quickly he picked up the playbook, how he studied film late into the night, how he wasn't just another prospect. He was different. And then came the message. Baker Mayfield, once the face of the Browns, the swaggering Heisman winner who brought the city its first playoff win in decades, had been asked about Shedeur's rise. And instead of a long speech, instead of a careful, diplomatic answer, Baker smirked and delivered 5 words that sent shockwaves through the NFL. Let's see him earn it. 5 words. That's all. But in those 5 words, Baker ignited a firestorm. Was it encouragement, a challenge from one QB to another? Or was it shade, a subtle reminder that hype means nothing in the NFL? That rookies have to bleed before they shine. Fans split instantly. Some applauded Baker's bluntness, saying Cleveland has heard too many empty promises before. Others accused him of bitterness, of throwing shade at a young man just beginning his journey. Shedeur's response: silence. No clapbacks, no social media rants, no public drama. Just work. Every day at practice, he came out sharper, more locked in, more determined. Coaches saw it, teammates felt it, and slowly, the narrative began to shift. Maybe this wasn't just another rookie storyline. Maybe this was the beginning of something bigger. But here's the twist. That message, those 5 words, now follow Shedeur everywhere. Reporters repeat them. Opposing players mock them. Even in the locker room, veterans joke, "You better earn it, Rook." Every pass Shedeur throws, every decision he makes is measured against Baker's warning. And in some ways, that's what makes this story so compelling. Because Shedeur isn't just fighting for a starting job. He's fighting for respect. He's fighting against a franchise's cursed history. He's fighting against the ghost of Baker Mayfield, the man who once held the same spotlight. Who knows the weight of this city, and who isn't ready to let go of his legacy without a fight? The Browns wanted a quarterback. What they got is a drama bigger than Hollywood could script, a rookie with prime bloodline swagger, a veteran with a smirk and 5 cutting words, and a fanbase desperate to believe this time will finally be different. But here's the question, hanging in the air, Steelers-style heavy. Will Shedeur Sanders prove those words wrong and become the savior Cleveland has been searching for? Or will Baker's message echo as prophecy? Another cruel reminder that the Browns' curse is alive and well. The Browns' gamble isn't just about a rookie quarterback. It's about rewriting the very DNA of a franchise scarred by heartbreak. When Shedeur Sanders steps onto the field, he isn't just carrying a football. He's carrying history, expectations, and the weight of every fan who's dared to believe in Cleveland. And yet, the storm around him keeps building, because Baker Mayfield's 5 words, "Let's see him earn it," weren't just a soundbite. They became a prophecy that haunts every snap Shedeur takes, every touchdown, every interception, every moment of brilliance or mistake gets replayed through the lens of that challenge. Make no mistake, this is the boldest gamble the Browns have made in years. Shedeur isn't a hidden project quietly developing on the sidelines. He's front and center, battling in the AFC North, the most brutal gauntlet in football. Lamar Jackson's Ravens, Joe Burrow's Bengals, a nasty Steelers defense led by T.J. Watt. Every Sunday is a fight for survival. And Cleveland has given the keys to a rookie. That's the gamble, not easing him in, not protecting him behind veterans, but throwing him directly into the fire. It's a risk that could ignite a revolution or burn the entire house down. But here's where the magic lives, because Shedeur Sanders isn't just another rookie. He's primetime son, raised in the spotlight, molded by pressure, trained to believe that greatness is the only option. When he drops back in practice, his calm is unsettling. When he threads a laser between defenders, teammates shake, their heads in disbelief. When he scrambles and makes something out of nothing, fans see flashes of a quarterback who could finally break the curse. Imagine it. 4th quarter, down by 6, 2 minutes left. Shedeur leads a drive that silences 70,000 rival fans. He calls audibles like a seasoned veteran, throws darts under pressure, and marches Cleveland to a game-winning score. That's not just a rookie doing his job. That's a city reborn. The glory isn't just about wins. It's about belief. For the first time in decades, Cleveland could look at their quarterback and say, "That's our guy." But glory always walks hand in hand with danger. And if Shedeur stumbles, if the rookie wall hits harder than expected, if defenses figure him out, or injuries pile up, then Mayfield's message transforms from a warning into a prophecy fulfilled. Let's see him earn it. The fallout could be brutal. Fans, so desperate for a savior, could turn their frustration into anger. The media, who hyped Shedeur as the future, could flip the script overnight. Opponents could circle his name, smelling weakness. And in a city like Cleveland, where heartbreak feels like tradition, another collapse might feel unbearable. Worse, the locker room could fracture. Veterans who bought into the hype might lose faith. Younger players might start whispering, "Was Baker right?" And the Browns, instead of finding their savior, could find themselves back in the darkness of uncertainty. But let's not forget, this isn't just about football. This is about a young man with the Sanders name trying to carve his own path. Deion built a legacy as one of the greatest to ever play, a two-way icon, a cultural phenomenon. Shedeur grew up in those shadows, carrying both privilege and pressure. Every time he takes the field, he's not just compared to other rookies. He's compared to history. And that's why Baker's 5 words sting deeper. Because they don't just question Shedeur as a player, they challenge him as a symbol of whether the Sanders legacy can live and thrive in the harshest arena of all, the NFL. So here we are. The Browns have bet their future on a rookie. With primetime bloodlines, Baker Mayfield's warning still echoes in the background. The AFC North looms like a battlefield of giants. Will Shedeur Sanders rise and silence every doubt, proving that legacy isn't a burden but a weapon? Or will he crumble, becoming another cautionary tale in Cleveland's endless carousel of quarterback heartbreak? That's the drama. That's the gamble. That's the story bigger than football. Because when Shedeur Sanders steps under center, it's not just about yards and touchdowns. It's about pride. It's about history. It's about proving that 5 words don't define him. His actions do. And whether he leads the Browns to glory or collapses under the weight of expectations, one thing is undeniable. The entire NFL world is watching.